All right, Sager, we had to take a little bit of a break there. I don't know about you. That Niners conversation depressed the shit out of me.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready to look around the league and kind of look at some other franchises. Talk about their pitfalls, talk about some good franchises, and just recap the league. It's good to be football guys and kind of have your nose around the league.
Are you looking at any other teams to like just adopt? Because I'm
Oh
nearing.
yeah,
I'm nearing
oh
there.
yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, I feel like the Bills have kind of been my second team these past 3 years because I've had Josh Allen as my fantasy quarterback
You're a
for
Chiefs
three.
guy. You're a Chiefs guy. Come on
Okay,
now.
okay, okay. Hold on. To be fair to the audience,
Now,
I
now
hate.
that the Bills beat the Chiefs
Hold
and
up,
the
hold
Bills are
up.
looking
No, no,
legit,
no.
I'm just
To the
saying,
audience, to the audience.
audience,
I'm
listen to me
I'm a
on this one.
Mahomes guy come playoff time because I love to bet the Chiefs. I love
Okay,
having them on my
it's
side.
fair.
They make me money. Like they're the surest bet live as a dog. Like last playoffs, like me and Chase were talking about it when we were going into that Super Bowl. We're like, dude, Mahomes plus money in the Super Bowl. Like, come on. Like it sucks we can't even bet this, and you just know. So I like the Chiefs from a gambling aspect, but if anything bad were to happen to them, I'm happy. Like I'm happy. I'm the first guy rooting for Travis Kelsey to retire. You know what I mean? I'm the first guy rooting for Patrick Mahomes to retire. So don't call me a Chiefs guy. Don't label me that. Don't
You
don't put that
good?
evil on
Are
me.
we ready to go, or do you want to keep on talking about the Chiefs?
So I'm gonna say the Bills just because I watch every single one of their games for the past 3 years and I love their fans. And I love Josh Allen. From the
Speaking
NFC,
about
it's
the
it's gonna be the Eagles.
Speaking
Sadly,
about the Bills and Super Bowl contending teams like the Chiefs, let's go to two teams that are probably not going to compete for the Super Bowl. So, Sage, the first game we had was Chargers Falcons. The Chargers won the game 17-13. It was an ugly first half. But the Falcons were up at one point 10-9. Kirk Cousins, as Kirk Cousins does, threw a pick six. Chargers took the 17-10 lead. They were basically up the entire rest of the game. Kirk threw a couple of interceptions to lock up the win for the Chargers. Sage, I had this as a note before the Niner game. I took my notes on this game before the Niner game, and I said, Kirk Cousins is washed, and if you want this Kirk Cousins over Brock Purdy, you're high. Sage, take the floor.
I mean they're about the same quarterback, right?
I mean, that take aged very poorly for Niners fans right there, if you like Brock Purdy.
Okay, so as someone who bet the Chargers, I know you took them as well.
That was
They were
both of our
both
best bets, yeah.
I was very confident in this pick. They're my favorite bet of the week, and I mean, they should have lost this game. Like
They should have lost. Kirk Cousins,
they got outplayed in every facet.
zero
And Kirk,
touchdowns, four interceptions for Kirk Cousins.
it's like he tried to lose them the game. I mean,
He did. He literally
next,
lost them the game.
yeah, he did lose them the game. Like to be honest, they got like out everything except for the quarterback play. Justin Herbert just didn't make any mistakes, and Kirk Cousins made four of them. The worst interception ever, followed by the worst pick six ever, and then a terrible interception in the red zone. I mean, it's just inexcusable. I can't imagine they stick with this guy. I mean, they're like just at fault of being in the NFC South because they're still in first place in their division, so they feel like they have to throw this guy out. But
Is
I
it
don't know.
Penix time?
It might be.
I
I
think it
mean,
might be.
this guy.
He looks
It's
fucking terrible.
and we were talking about, we're saying like the reason we're taking the Chargers because the Falcons defense is just that bad. But they got 5 sacks. We're generating a pass rush all game. You kind of start to see what Raheem Morris can do with that defense, and they are improving. But man, like that's just one. It's not the Chargers won. The Falcons just lost it. Like that was just awful. Those picks were just right there for them.
So I actually had a big point that I missed. But the Chargers were up 17-13 with 14 minutes left in the fourth. Go for a fake punt on
Yeah,
their
but you
own
never see
30-yard
Harbaugh do it.
line. So no, so this is what I'm gonna say about the Chargers. The Chargers are 8-4. But if you remember some of the stuff with the Niners back in the day with Harbaugh, he's not immune to having some late game fiascos, late game bad calls. Everybody's been giving him his flowers the past year. Won the national championship with Michigan. Comes right to the Chargers, gets them set back up. Telling you, wait till the playoffs. Wait till they play in a big playoff game against Kansas City. You'll see Harbaugh make a couple of these mistakes. They got away with it today, but I'm a little bit scared about that. I'm a little bit
No,
scared about that if I'm a Chargers fan.
I definitely will say. I mean, playing Monday Night Football, traveling all the way to Atlanta coming off the bye, the Chargers looked like rusted. That first drive, fumble right away. Falcons go down and then miss like a 30-yard field goal. Younghoe Koo misses the
Yeah,
field goal.
Younghoe Koo. Start the
From
game.
there on, it just set the tone for just pure slop for the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons almost need to take a page out of the 2023 Niners book. Just spam Bijan Robinson. Seriously. Like,
Yeah.
no wrong can happen if you just spam that guy. Every time they gave him the ball, something good happened. And then towards the end of the game, when they had the lead, when they were trying to come back, they just wanted to put it on the right arm of Kirk Cousins, and it was garbage. I got to say, the Chargers offense without J.K. Dobbins is very limp dick. I mean, it's Ladd
You don't like
McConkey.
Gus Edwards?
Dude, he is bad. Him and Haskins and Vidal are all bad. Like, I thought it was just like the run game, the run scheme with that O-line, but fuck no, dude. Those guys are not explosive. They can't run. Like, it's like, I don't know even like what it's like those guys. It's like having 3 Tyler Algiers back there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the Falcons' second string running back is like the RB 2, 3, and 4 for the Chargers. But McConkey's a guy. He's Mr. Reliable for the Chargers. He's gritty. He's a hard worker, gym rat, everything you want to say about him. The only thing is, like, it seems like every time he gets hit, he comes up like grabbing something. Like, there was 2 times that game he had to take himself to the sideline. So I don't know how sustainable it is, but man, the Chargers just find ways to win. They grit them out. They find ways to win. Identity culture, gets you some cheap wins in the NFL, and they got one this Sunday.
All right, just to close out this game, I'm going to let everybody know that J.K. Dobbins is Sage's fantasy running back, so take that with a grain of salt. Big Sunday night football game. Big Sunday night football game this week. Chiefs Chargers.
I can't wait.
Look out for that one. That'll be a good one.
I think it's going to fall right on the number, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll make it one of our best bets.
So next game we got AFC North battle. Bengals fighting for their season. Steelers pull out the win though, 44-38, and really, this was the best I've seen Pittsburgh. And if you're the Bengals, we brought it up with the Niners. Maybe the season's good because you know that you have to make adjustments. Bengals, get rid of Zach Taylor. Don't let the door hit him on the way out. You cannot waste these seasons from Joe Burrow because he's throwing them down the fucking drain.
Chase, you made this pick. You took the Bengals minus 2.5, and the thing
I'm pissed I did it. I'm addicted to betting shitty teams. I don't get it.
I don't think they're shitty. I just like
they're not good.
They're not good. They're not good. They are who they've shown us they are. You know what I mean? Like
we are who they thought they were.
Exactly. I said
they are who we thought they were. Sorry, I fucked that up.
They have the best unit on the field with that offense, but they by far have the worst unit.
Their defense is ass.
I said Mount Rushmore of maybe the worst defenses I've ever seen. Najee
Harris. That bad. I don't know about that.
Bro. Russell Wilson statistically just had his best game against you, with his wide receiver 1 being George Pickens. They put up 41 on you. I mean, albeit they did have a fumble 6, but 34 on you with 2 drives basically getting just like stalled because George Pickens picks up a first down and immediately gets like a taunting penalty. He got him down to like the 5, and then it was taunt, whatever, field goal. Or taunt, incompletion, field goal. You let Najee run all over you. I mean, as soon as they get into the red zone, they're able to score on first and second down. Just no backbone on this Bengals defense. I feel bad. I feel bad for Burrow. I mean, they're wasting him. They're straight up wasting him. I mean, 30 touchdowns, 3 interceptions is it? And
shut the fuck up. Is it that?
I think it's like 30 touchdowns. Maybe it's 30 touchdowns. Here, I could pull it up right now. But he's having he's having such a historic year. And
30-5. Wow.
30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. With T. Higgins basically missing half the year too. And this guy's nowhere near MVP talks because of how bad that defense is. They have a top 2 offense now in scoring, and it's going to get them nowhere. And they're not even going to get a good pick out of it too because they're going to be middling, just like the Niners.
I mean, Sage, what do you bring up with every team? If you're the head coach, what do you need to do for the team? You need to get an identity, right? You need to get a culture.
They kind of have one.
Do they? Do they?
I mean, identity.
Is it a good one?
No, I mean that offense. You just lean on that offense.
But how many times have you ever looked at the Bengals offense and you thought, "Wow, Zach Taylor scheming it up tonight," or are you just like Jamar, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow are just taking over?
Backyard football, right?
It's like backyard football. So I don't give any success. I don't grant any of the success or credit to Zach Taylor. And it's weird because they made the Super Bowl. You made another AFC Championship game where you were really close to making a Super Bowl, and it seems like he's going to get fired. It seems like he's going to get fired.
He's
Their
got to be gone.
season's over. So really, when you think about this game, it's all about the Steelers because they look good. The thing is, and I've been saying it with the Steelers all year, where do we really think they are in terms of the AFC picture? Because they could have a couple more wins like this. I'm not going to trust them. If you're talking Super Bowl, AFC Championship game, I don't trust this team, and I won't.
I'll say this.
You love Mike Tomlin. I don't, but not impressed. Still.
I'll get to Mike Tomlin, but I'll say this. Can they win the Super Bowl? No, because they'd have to win four playoff games in a row. I don't think they could do that. I think they could beat anyone. I think they could beat anyone on any week.
Bills.
I think they could upset them. Like, I genuinely, like, I wouldn't give them no chance. Like, we see what that defense could do. And when that offense is cooking, they can move the ball. So I think they have enough. It's not like, and the Steelers weirdly play the Bills well. Like that last year's playoff game with Mason Rudolph, they gave him like a good fight till the very end. But I don't know. I just think when you have a coach like that, you have TJ Watt, like someone who could totally wreck the game. I don't completely count you out. I mean, look what Max Crosby was doing to Mahomes on Friday. I think like a good enough DN could really give the Chiefs trouble. I think the Bills would be a tough matchup for them just because of how easily they move the ball against any team like at will. Ravens would also be a tough one because they could just run it, but I don't want to put it past them. I mean, you see what they are when they play the Ravens. They're a good team, man. Like we said, it's chalk. Mike Tomlin, division loss, coming off a bye, or not. Mike Tomlin, division loss, road dog. Bengals coming off a bye, reverse of the good coach bye theory. Lou Anarumo, however you say it, bad coach, coming off the bye, fucks it up even more. That defense looks the worst it has all year. No excuses. Their season's done.
So that's going to be it for the Steelers-Bengals game. We're going to move on to the Cardinals, who took on the Vikings in Minnesota. A tough place to win all year. The Vikings pulled out the win 23-22. But let's be honest, Sager, Arizona blew this one, and they blew it bad. And in all honesty, the wins that they pulled out of their ass this year, maybe it's just a sort of karma that they had a loss like this.
You say that, but man, if you look at the Vikings, they're pulling out wins left and right like this as well. I mean, to start with the Cardinals, Niners competitors, I'll say this, man. I think they are now officially my least favorite team in the NFC West. No one fucks me like the Arizona Cardinals fuck me. There's no way around it. When I'm going against you,
because you bet Vikings, but you didn't get the cover.
And I mean, the Cardinals outplayed them. Is that fair to say the Cardinals outplayed them?
Completely? Yeah, they had the game the entire way.
It was that dumb ass Kyler pick at the very end where he just threw it up, did a 360, and just shrugged before the ball was even caught. Like he punted it, but he just gave them all the momentum. I mean, the thing about the Cardinals, it reminds me of the Niners with Jimmy G. The Cardinals have two starting quarterbacks. They have good Kyler and they have bad Kyler. And the problem is they never know which one's going to show up. That first half and that third quarter, you got good Kyler. Fourth quarter, you got bad Kyler. And he kind of screwed them, but he was the reason they were in the game. He was moving it with his legs, making passes. James Conner got involved. Didn't really dominate, but they were able to move the ball. And, I mean, just when you couldn't have a mistake, you got to play clean football. They make a mistake, and that's what bad teams do. That's what undisciplined teams do. They make the bad mistake in untimely spots. I mean, and you got to give the Vikings credit. They did everything they needed to do in those got-to-have-it moments. They were able to find Jefferson, find Addison once they went to the hurry-up. They were able to kind of pick them apart.
So that was the last drive. I have a question for you, Sage, because Gannon's getting he's getting some criticism here. So the Cardinals
I wanted to talk about this.
Let me just lay out the situation for everybody here. The Cardinals were up 19-16. So they had 4th and goal at the Minnesota 4. They elected to kick the field goal, go up 6, and then obviously we know what happened. Darnold drove down, got the touchdown, the extra point to take the 1-point lead. But if you're Gannon there, do you go for it on that 4th down? Knowing that if they have the drive, most likely they probably just end up with a field goal because I think that Minnesota converted on a 4th down. If it was a 3-point game, they just kick the field goal, you go to OT. Or do you just go for the throat with a guy like Kyler who we do have our issues with Kyler, but on any play he can make anything happen, right? He's a threat with his legs. He can move around in the pocket. Do you go for it there, or do you think that was the right move by Gannon?
Okay, so I'll say this. I love this question. Greg Olsen was harping on it the entire drive. And it's funny because the Vikings had 4th and 7 from the 40, where if they were down 3, they would have just kicked the field goal.
100%.
And with Romo, they probably would have missed it. I mean, they don't have like a stud kicker. I know it's indoors, but there's a chance it would have been like a 54-yard field goal. They kick it. You give them 4-down territory. I kick it there. Your defense is stopping.
It's not an easy decision.
Your defense is stopping them all day. Your offense kind of stymied up at the end, and I get it. You get stopped, then they have to drive the length of the field to get a field goal, and you're not giving them the ball at the 30. But I don't hate the decision with how well your defense was playing that entire game. If you're playing someone like Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, you kick the field, or you go for the touchdown, right? Because you just look at it, right? Down 6. Or you have a 6-point lead. Say you're the team. You're the Cardinals here. You have a 6-point lead. Then it's automatic 4-down territory. What does this kind of remind you of, right? It kind of reminds you of the Super Bowl situation when in OT. Yeah. You'd rather be the team to get it second because you know it's 4-down territory when you got to have it. 4-down territory, your play calling's a little more aggressive. You can be conservative, more so on 3rd down, and you have an extra down to play with in your back pocket, right? You'd rather have that. And if you're going against a good offense, then you don't want to give them that privilege. So, I mean, in that situation, I get it. The Vikings had just driven for a touchdown, but it was their one touchdown drive of the game up until that point. Your defense was stopping them. I don't hate the call, to be honest. He was getting a lot of shit for it, but come on, it's all situational.
So, all bullshit aside, the Cardinals are now 1 game back of the Seahawks. They already lost to the Seahawks last week, but they play them again this week. Let's just be frank here. If the Cardinals lose to the Seahawks, they're kind of fucked because then you're 2 games back of the Seahawks. They have to head-to-head against you. So it's going to be an important week. Yeah. It's going to be an important week for the Cardinals. And Sage, before we move to the next game, for the Vikings, what are the expectations if you're a fan? Is this fine? So the way that I think about it is that you're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. Who knows? Maybe there's some route where you get the 1 seed, but you're never going to be the favorite in the NFC. So what I'm saying is that this is all gravy. You got great weapons. You got a great play caller. You have a top 10 defense. And next year, you come off of this year with your rookie quarterback and see if he's the guy for the future. That's basically all I see for the Vikings this year. I don't see them being a contender at all.
They're interesting because I used to think they had a top 10 defense. It's kind of gone away. Like, that defense isn't as dominant as it used to be.
Still good.
It's good at home. I mean, we saw Caleb move the ball on them. We saw Kyler move the ball on them. They were kind of fierce at first, but you kind of start to see it. Like, the teams that we thought were good, like the Texans, turned out that offense wasn't as good as maybe we thought. The Niners turned out they really weren't as good as we might have thought. So, I don't know. If they go to Detroit and put up a good game, I mean, I know it's a divisional opponent. They already saw him, so maybe, they'll play him tougher. I know we're not going to talk about Detroit, but did you see Detroit sign Jamal Adams yesterday?
I did not. No.
Yeah, Detroit's kind of reeling right now. So, I mean,
their safeties do suck. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. Can they win?
Or no, they have good. They have good safeties.
The
Lions. Did somebody get injured, banged up?
Yeah. They lost like 3 starting defenders on Thursday.
Oh wow.
They're getting banged up. I will say this. The one thing that plays well for the Vikings is that other than the Eagles, the 2 top teams in your division or in the NFC are in your division, in the Packers and the Lions. And Chase, it doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are. Division games are just different. So I do think that bodes really well for them. Like, if they're 0-2 against the Lions in the regular season, like you saw with the Niners when they played the Rams, 2-0 against them in the regular season, lost them the NFC Championship game. When you see a team 3 times, it's hard to beat them 3 times. So I think that goes well for them. If they made it to the Super Bowl, they'd get fucking ran. So I think their ceiling's making the Super Bowl if everything breaks right for them.
All right. Now we're going to dive into the Colts, who took on the Patriots. The Colts won the game 25-24. Sage, let's be honest, no one gave a shit about this game in the morning slate, but it did have a great ending. So the Colts were down, and I believe they were down, was it 7 points?
Yeah,
yes, they were.
Too.
They were down 7 points, and Shane Steichen just has the biggest balls on the planet. So they had a 4th and goal from the 3. They were able to get it, but this is a decision that I don't think a lot of coaches make, but it's going to be the decision that I always agree with. If you're a team that's about 5-7, you're fine for a playoff spot, you're on the road, and you have a chance to just win the game there, by going for 2 instead of just tying the game, going to OT with an extra point. You go for 2. They got it. That really was the game. I mean, Drake May did like Drake May usually does. He played solid. The team around him wasn't that good. So this was the Colts pulling it out at the end. And if you're the Patriots, I guess you're happy with this result.
Yeah, cough, cough, Todd Bowles. It just shows you, man, like when you're in that situation, you got nothing to lose. You got to go for 2. But just going back to the matchup, I mean, how far this matchup has fallen. Colts Patriots used to.
Oh my God, yeah.
I
didn't even think about that.
It used to mean something back in the day, man. Now it's I mean, Drake May looked good. Can we please get this guy in O-line and some help? I mean, anytime. They got 2 touchdowns taken off the board. Joey Sly misses a 30-yard field goal. Gerard Mayo has these guys so undisciplined. Tries a 68-yard field goal in 20-degree weather. Just
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Idiot. Like,
it was straight though. It was straight. It kind of looked good on the TV.
It's not, bro. He was like 7 yards short of the goalpost, which means he was about 14 yards short of making the kick because he had to get it over. You know what I mean? Like, he was nowhere near making that. It's just so stupid. It's bad coaching, just terrible decision making. Anytime they run it to the outside, it's a hold. Anytime they try and do like a hard count, it's a false start. They are so terribly coached. It's so evident. And I just feel bad for May because they're going to ride with Mayo for 2-3 years, and it's just going to delay.
They shouldn't. They should fire his ass right now. Get you a coach to set you up for Drake May's future.
The Bills are licking their chops at the idea that Gerard Mayo might be in their division for 2 or 3 more games. But, I mean, what do we say? We said this when they played the Rams. We say this when they played the Titans. For the Patriots, you don't want to win. Right?
This is perfect.
Best case scenario.
This is
best
perfect.
Case scenario. You showed what you could do. Drake May was throwing dots. That touchdown pass to Hooper was beautiful. They were able to move the ball on basically all their drives. Got the run game going. I mean, Drake May clearly is better than Anthony Richardson. I don't think anyone's arguing that. But
what about Caleb Williams?
I'd take Drake May for sure. I would for sure take Drake May. He's fast too, bro. That run he broke out was special. He's got wheels, man. I will say though, we've seen this go sideways. Like if you don't, you have the asset. Like look at Justin Herbert. Look at some of these other like Trevor Lawrence. Like some of these guys, like where they show some promise early, and you take it for granted, and you don't get like stars around them, talent around them, and it starts to go backwards. Like learn from that. Get some fucking talent. Protect this guy and just keep helping him grow.
That's basically it for the Patriots. For the Colts, big game next week, Sage. So they're 6-7.
They won, but it feels like they lost.
I know, but they're 6-7, and they play the Broncos next week. So the Broncos are currently in that 7th spot, or that 7th spot in the AFC, and they're going to have to get a win against the Broncos to realistically have a chance at the playoffs. So we'll see. I don't have faith in the Colts. I think they'll lose to the Broncos. We'll see what the line is for that later, but let's just go to the next game. So, Sage, this was the drunkest game of all time. We have the Seahawks taking on the Jets, and the Seahawks won 26-21. Sage, I've been saying it all year. I'll say it till the end of the year. The Jets are not serious people, and this was probably the biggest example of it for me.
Oh, my goodness, bro. I mean, the Seahawks played well. Right? Seahawks played well. It was just their special teams that really tried to fuck them. Laviska Shenault, whatever, should be canned. He should be waived this morning. But 2 fumbles on back-to-back returns. And then you kind of, get your feet under you, score, and then immediately give up a 99-yard kick return. Just trying to lose the game. You fumble again. Rodgers has it inside the 5. Throws the worst pick, and then your team just quits, falls apart on itself.
So let me list this out because the Jets literally try to throw this game away. So they were up 21-7 after that kickoff return, like you brought up. Rodgers throws a pick 6. Okay, next drive they get a turnover on downs on their own 45-yard line. After the Seahawks get the ball back, the Jets get a goal line stop. Breece Hall fumbles. Okay, later in the game, the Seahawks had a 4th and 6. Jets too many men. 4th and 1, they converted. And then they had another 4th and 1 on the last drive. Got to stop, flag, horse collar tackle. Seattle scores. They win 26-21. The last drive, I mean, the Jets had some minutes to get a last-second drive to win the game.
Everyone knew they weren't.
Everybody in the world knew that they weren't going to get it. Everybody in the world.
Exactly. Chase bet the game, and the Jets had the ball. and they had a chance to score with like plenty of time. And he was already talking like Money in the Bank, and I couldn't even talk shit like it was a jinx because everyone knew the Jet. I mean, the sideline went from all time hype like Super Bowl to just like a funeral, like literally a funeral on the sideline. It's such a collapse, man. Ulbrich, joke. The offense was a joke. Rodgers was missing passes all day. All day. Like maybe one of the worst
He's
games
got
I've
to
seen
hang it
him
up.
play in a while.
He's got to hang it up, man.
It's time, man. I don't know what they're going to do.
He
I
can't
think
move in the pocket, and he's not even accurate in the pocket anymore.
they take me as the Kirk Cousins team. I think they'll be the team to go after Kirk Cousins. I don't know, man. I hate talking about him just because of what they are. Chase almost got bit by them, but then of course he got to be on the other side of a great Jets collapse. And come on, Chase. It's got to feel good to be on the Seahawks side for this one.
I mean, the group chat when the Jets instantly went up 14-0 and then got the kickoff to make it 21-7, I said, of course, I fucking hate the Jets so much. I bet them. I bet against them, and then they show up off a bye week looking great. Fuck the Jets, but let's just talk about the Seahawks because the Jets are dead. The Jets are dead. Aaron Rodgers is dead. We brought up with that Cardinals game. That's coming up this weekend. So the Seahawks really do, or they really can just get the big-time advantage in that NFC West title race by beating the Cardinals on Sunday. I think they will. I'm pretty sure the game's at home for them. So even though we hated on the Seahawks, I think, especially after that Niners win on Thursday night earlier in the year, they've come back. McDonald's made some adjustments, and they look good right now.
Yeah, I know. It makes me sad. I mean, the beginning of that game, I said it felt like a chess match between, like, two morons. Just, like, watching them go back and forth, back and forth. But the Seahawks, I mean, they control their destiny in the wicked NFC West. And I think they have a decently tough schedule coming up compared to everyone else.
They do.
They basically got it in their hands. They beat the Cardinals. I think they have the Rams again. They clear those. Like, they basically just need to win one or two more to get the division. You said you trust Geno Smith. I still don't. I mean, if they make the playoffs,
I didn't say I trust him.
When you made this pick, I just said you could trust Geno Smith. I won't. I still don't. But man, he was making some throws that game. I can't hate. Like, there are some layered throws, like JSN just running open all game. When they look good, when they have to move the ball, like when they're in that like 2 minute, like I think they should be like a Kenneth Walker centric team. But when they're in that 2 minute drill where they're just pass, they look fucking good. And this guy has kind of a good arm. I don't know. It's weird. The Seahawks feel like they play how they shouldn't, but sometimes it works. I don't know how to describe it, but nothing more to say about them.
The Jets are dead. The Seahawks are more than alive. Let's go to the next one. So, yeah, this one was over quick. So we had the Commanders taking on the Titans, and Sage, I think Washington was up 28-0 at the start of the second quarter, and they even had a 46-yard field goal to make it 31-0, but missed. Really, this was just an ass kicking across the board.
I saw something that said the Commanders were up 28-0 before they took their 10th offensive snap. So It just shows you Titans back-to-back special teams fumbles, and then I think it was a Tony Pollard fumble right after that. Just a mess. I mean, I had no interest in this game. There was 8 games perfectly in the morning, so they made one of my squares. I immediately switched it to just a black square. So I had 7 games in a black square. I had no interest in watching this game. I wanted nothing to do with this game. Just a whomping. Jaden looks good. I mean, the him to McLaurin combination, it's scary. I mean, they got something there. I think depending on how Bo Nix looks tonight, Jaden retook the offensive rookie of the year, I would say. I'd have to look at the odds after this. But I mean, I don't know. Not much to say. I didn't really pay too much attention to this game. It was kind of just a nothing. If Will Levis is on the screen, it's not on my TV.
So I'm going to just do 2 quick points on the Titans because who gives a shit about them? Sage, what are the Titans ranked in total defense right now?
I saw they were second or third coming.
They're second. They're second. Okay. So for anybody looking at total defense to make a take on something, don't, because that doesn't mean shit. And
I think I remember when I took the Lions minus 11, right? Like back. You were like, they were first, and you threw that
I did.
I was like, dude, I don't give a shit. I was like, yeah, that's what happens when you have Will Levis on your offense with short fields. Like, that's literally just what it is.
Exactly. And if I'm the Titans, you just go all out for the first pick. Maybe get Shadur, Dion combo. That's the only way I'll ever give a shit about you. And with Washington, I mean, I pay attention to the Commanders a lot because I have Jane Daniels. I have Terry McLaurin on my fantasy team. So I watch them a lot, and it seems like Jaden's starting to get back because
his running looked good.
there was about 4 weeks there where you're like, this does not look like the same guy that we saw earlier in the year. Seems like he's starting to get it back. So watch out. I mean, Washington can't really do anything. Do I expect them to put up any fight in the first round against a Detroit or a Philadelphia? Fuck no. So just enjoy it if you're a Washington fan. You're not going to do anything, but bright future with Jaden. I mean, better than you've been for the past 10 years.
Yeah, they already hit their over-under on wins. I think, what are they, 8-5 now? So they're 8-4. So gotta be happy if you're a Commanders fan.
So if you only watched one play of this game, you would have been fine. You would have been completely fine. Texans took on the Jaguars. Texans won 23-20. Sage, the game was started and was over right when Azeez Al-Shaair knocked the fuck out of Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, I wrote this down. I said, I don't care about the game. I don't care about anything. The fact that was like an offsetting penalty is such bullshit. I said
Jaguars got boned.
You should get a free retaliation for that. It ended up being one personal foul on Azeez. He got ejected. Someone from the Jags got ejected, and then they got another personal foul on someone else who retaliated. That's bullshit, right? I believe in an eye for an eye. I think you should be able to go clip Azeez or whoever did it. Like, just go clip him down, chop him down, and then you get a free shot at their quarterback.
Hey, they were trying to. Did you see the Jaguars fans throwing bottles at him?
Rightfully so. I felt so bad.
Dirtiest hit, I said, since Perfect.
Yeah, Perfect or the one on Flacco from, was it the Dolphins or whoever did it?
That was a bad one. That was a bad one. Kiko Alonso?
Well, yeah, Kiko Alonso.
What a name.
It was just one of those where you're just like, you see it happen in real time, just like, oh my God, like how the fuck, and he does like the little, he's throwing up the gang signs, and I don't know, man, like it was vicious because like you look at what happens with Tua sometimes and like how it impacts him. Like, he's a small guy. Like, I'm not saying there's like, different levels, but Lawrence is a big guy. Like, for it to like hit him like that, like, like that guy was flying, and in real time you just saw it.
I mean, did you see how his helmet hit off the ground?
Yeah,
it was like the biggest recoil I've ever seen in my life.
And he was down for a minute. I don't know. I didn't think he was going to be able to get up. I'm glad. Thoughts and prayers to him. I'm glad he's all right. Mac Jones looked good when he came in, like decent enough. Got the cover. Cover king. Mac Jones got in. Backdoor at the end, touchdown, 2-point conversion to get that 3.5. My biggest note though on this game, we don't have to stay on it for too long, was like how sad this matchup really is. Like after last year, everyone's like, these are the two young talent of the AFC South. You got Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud. No one gave a fuck. No one gave a fuck about this game. Like, it is. I didn't. So boring. Like, so irrelevant. Texans, when Mixon's going, they're going. They're able to move the ball, but I don't really got much to say. It was boring. Azeez prison. He shouldn't be allowed to play until Lawrence is back. I still
do love Azeez.
I do, but man, come on.
All right, so for the Texans, this is what I'll say. Like you brought up, a lot of the hype with the Texans has cooled down because they just don't look good. They have the Dolphins, Chiefs, and Ravens the next 3 weeks. So if they are worth a shit, we'll
Ravens
see whether or not they are.
Right? That's going to be a good Christmas. It's Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, Steelers. So that'll be a good Christmas Day slate.
That will be a good Christmas Day slate. So let's talk about something that we wouldn't want to have for Christmas, and that's another Buccaneers-Panthers game. So the Buccaneers won in OT 26-23. Sage, in all honesty, this was an ugly game. By far the ugliest game of the 1 o'clock slate. And really, everything happened in the last 2.5 minutes. I mean, the Panthers took the lead with 30 seconds left to make it a 3-point game. Baker, shout out to him. I know I give him a lot of shit, but got them in field goal range, tied the game, sent it in an OT. The Bucs missed the first field goal, 55-yarder. The Panthers are in field goal range. Like, they literally should have just taken the field goal almost right there. Chuba Hubbard fumbles on the Tampa Bay 35-yard line. Bum. Rashad White gets a big run, gets them back in field goal range. McLaughlin, 30-yard field goal to win it. I don't give a shit about the NFC South. I literally don't care, but I guess this was a good game for the Buccaneers.
I mean, they got dominated. Like, the Panthers were really in control of, like, 80% of that game. I mean, they look frisky. Buccaneers, you had to have it, so, never apologize for a win. I mean, division opponent on the road, you're a big favorite. So, shit like this happens. We saw it with the Steelers and the Browns. Like, shit like this happens. When it's the Panthers, it's a little different, but They've been looking good. I mean, they haven't been winning games like as much as like, but the record doesn't show as well as they've been playing recently. Is the best way to put it. Like they've been in a lot of these games. They gave the Chiefs a run for their money just last week. That run game's been going. They got Jonathan Brooks back. The defense was playing well. I mean, they were a Baker Mayfield 30-second miracle drive away from winning in regulation. They hit a miracle like 55-yard field goal on top of that. You have them dead to rights in OT, and you cough the ball up. Not on Bryce at all. I think he looked fine, looked accurate.
I thought he looked good.
Got the ball around. Xavier Legette looked good. But the Bucks, when they gotta have it, they got Mike Evans. I mean, Bucky Irving. That guy's like easily a top 10 running back in the league right now. Stud, Oregon boy. On
my fantasy team as well.
Can't play Rashad White anymore, right? I mean, like that guy.
He did have that big run at the end there, 40-yarder to get them in field goal range. So he did have a big run.
He did, but Bucky was just tired. Like he called himself to the sideline. He was huffing and puffing. Got to get the condition up, man. But that'll come. And Bucks just look way different, man. When they got Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, they got Evans back. I mean, 120 yards. I saw he needs like to average 99 a game to get to his 1,000-yard mark. Should get there, but Bucks, well-balanced offense. The defense, I'm surprised they're struggling this much with Zion McCollum. They got the best corner in the league, according to Chase.
All right. Calm down over there.
But yeah, man.
I was just letting you know that he was the number 1 rated cornerback according to PFF. I wasn't saying he was the best cornerback in the NFL. I didn't say that PFF's fucking gospel. I just let everybody know, and now I'm the Zion McCollum guy. This is what I'll say. I don't give a shit about the NFC South. I don't care at all. This is what I wrote down. I said Falcons, Buccaneers, the Oregon Ducks. I don't care who wins that fucking division. They are going to lose in the first round. That's all.
Fair.
That's what it is with the NFC South every year. Until they prove me different, not going to pay attention.
Chase.
Yes.
Packers at Bucks. What's the line for the first round of the playoffs?
Packers 5.5.
No, it's going to be Vikings actually.
It depends. I mean, anything can happen with that NFC North because they still do have a lot of matchups against each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can see the Packers getting the 5th seed.
I'd say 4.5 around there.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Nothing much more from this game.
Nothing much more. So then we had the Rams taking on the Saints in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Sage, I think the Rizzler magic's over.
Yeah, I tried telling you, man. I mean, that first half, they were moving the ball, but then you started to get
the Rams did not dominate. That's for fucking sure.
So I wrote it down here. So it's the first time the Rams have been shut out in the first half in 130 games. The Rams opened the first quarter with Blake Corum at the running back. Kyron doesn't get a touch until like 9 minutes in the second quarter. They start the second half feeding Puka, and what do you know? They go on 3 touchdown drives. The offense looked unstoppable. When it was got to have it time, they always got to have it. When they needed to get pressure on Carr, they were able to get pressure on Carr. It's how the game ended. I just said it, man. I said sometimes, McVay overthinks it. He tries to be like this type of finesse, like spread the ball around. What did the Rams do when they won the Super Bowl? They just got it to their playmakers. They got it to Cooper Kupp. They stayed the course. And that's what they got to do if they won these games. Get it to Puka. Get it to Kyron Williams. That's it.
I mean, Sage, you're overlooking one thing. Is this just the curse of Grand Cone? I mean,
what do you mean?
We bring it up on his podcast on Thursday, and then the Rams can't even score a point in the first half. He already bit Kyle Shanahan. He might get Sean McVay. This is what I'll say, Sage. The Rams aren't legit. The Rams aren't legit. I mean,
I think they're the worst team in the NFC.
The Saints really did have a chance to tie the game at the end there. The Rams never look good. I mean, the Saints are the shits. Let's be real. The Saints are the shits. And you could honestly say that was pretty close to a 50-50 game. I'd say maybe 55-45 for the Rams. So they're not impressing me. McVay needs to get questioned a little bit like we brought up on Grant's show. But, yeah, I don't see them really in contention to win the NFC West. I don't think they're on the same level as Seattle, Arizona. Like you said, I think they're last in that division. So even though they won, not impressive, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
No, I agree. I mean, the Rams have to be up there with the Chiefs and just those teams. When you gotta have it, they always get it. The gotta have it drives, they always get it. So you got to be impressed by that. But I mean, the defense has kind of started to regress a little. They got lucky. Saints stopped giving the ball to Kamara for whatever reason in the second half, and he was killing them in the first half, and that was kind of it, man. I mean, not too much relevance coming out of this game.
Yeah, so let's just cap it off, Sage. So we had the last game of the week. As we know, the Niners played on Sunday night, so already talked about it. This was the big game of the 1 o'clock slate. The Eagles took on the Ravens.
I was really excited for this one.
I fucking bet the Ravens. And Sage, when I was a kid, I had a dog. And the dog got old. And eventually, my parents told me that they took him up to a farm. And he lived on the farm for the rest of his life. I think that may be what the Ravens had to do with Justin Tucker because he is washed.
Is he washed?
He's washed. He's done. I mean, missed 3 kicks, and if he makes those kicks, they win the game.
I think he's 0-6. The last
from 50 yards.
From 50 yards, is it, or something along those lines? I don't know if he lost in this game necessarily. He killed a lot of momentum. It was so.
If he makes those kicks, they win the game.
I don't know. That the score's a little closer than indicated.
Sage, I'm trying to make myself feel better for picking the Ravens -3. Okay. I'm trying to justify that it was the right call. I'm just trying to blame it on Justin Tucker.
So as someone who was on the Eagles, has kind of low-key been rooting for the Eagles, after that first quarter, I was like, oh man, the Eagles are about to get run. Like they are about to get run out of fucking
The Ravens
Baltimore.
didn't stomp on them.
Ravens just missed their opportunity, man. I mean, Lamar, come on, bro. Like, some of those missed throws were god-awful. You had Isaiah Likely twice, wide open, you sail him. You had Zay Flowers down the sideline, you sail him. I mean, I get it. Like, I said it to Chase. I was like, the Ravens, like, they scheme guys open so well. It's definitely because of Lamar. But when they're open, it's like he doesn't hit them, like, at the clip he should be. It's like he overthinks it, tries to lead them. It's like, bro, just get it to them. I don't know, man. The Ravens... They're just a dumb team. They commit the most penalties, the most penalty yards. They're not buttoned up. I mean, are we sure? Are we sure Harbaugh's that good of a coach? I'm just going to say it. Like,
yeah,
are we sure
so you know what? I'll jump in here because I do think Harbaugh's a good coach. Tale as old as fucking Lamar's career. When you stop the run and you make him be a drop-back passer, they're not going to be that good. And we get looped into it every single year, Sage. Every single year, the Ravens look badass. Beat up on some minnow teams. Maybe a team like the Bills who had some injuries coming off a tough week. They beat the shit out of them. But in big games against great teams like the Chiefs, like we saw today with the Eagles, if you could stop that Ravens run game, they're just not the same team. There's not the same team. And I think we got to realize this, make a mental note of this for the playoffs. Because if you do think that the Ravens are going to be the best team in the AFC, like I thought a couple weeks ago, you're going to have to reconsider because they're just not going to have enough to beat the premier teams in the AFC. That's me.
No, I agree. It kind of reminded me of that Steelers game, right? Okay. The Ravens, they fumbled twice on kickoffs, recovered both. So it could have been a lot worse, but going through the stat sheet, right? Fumbled 3 times, recovered all 3. Outrushed them. More passing yards. 7 more first downs. They outpossessed them by almost 8 minutes. The turnover battle was even. Penalty yards, they had less by 30. And it really just came down to when the Ravens moved the ball, they couldn't score, and Justin Tucker was just missing field goals. So I do get where you're coming from, but you can't tell me the Eagles weren't the better team that game. Because they clearly were. They were more buttoned up. They're a better run team. They're able to pass the ball. The Ravens couldn't guard A.J. Brown all fucking day. Like, whenever the Ravens or the Eagles had to have it, Jalen Hurts was making the pass to A.J. Brown, and Lamar just wasn't. I think that was the difference. Like, I consider Lamar a better quarterback, but there's so much evidence out there that when he has to pass it, he's just – I see your face. I'm not going to say Jalen Hurts is better than him.
Okay. I thought you were about to go there. I'm like, what?
No, I'm not. Because Lamar deserves his respect. But I'll say this. When Jalen Hurts played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, he played better than I think Lamar could ever play against them because he was making passes. I've yet to see just like an A-plus Lamar passing game, and in the playoffs in these tight games, like we talk about with Lamar all the time, what does he struggle with? Playoff games. Games against the Steelers, your biggest opponent, and then your biggest in-division rival, and then games against the Chiefs, your biggest conference rival. Like, when it gets tight and teams know they could turn you one-dimensional and you can't expose them, and that's when you struggle, then I have to second-guess like how good of a quarterback you really are.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's going to be the conversation with Lamar until he wins the big one. I mean, it's the simplest take, but it's the right take with Lamar. So that's really all I have about the Ravens. What I'll say about the Eagles, Sage, I would have no problem if from here on out we just had Azeez Al-Shaair fly out to wherever the Eagles are playing, suit up for the other team, and on every tush-push attempt, just do exactly what you did to Trevor Lawrence, to Jalen Hurts, because I am fucking sick of this play. I think it is a disgrace that the NFL hasn't outlawed this. It's such bullshit. It's not an American football play. It's like a fucking rugby play. You have like 3 guys pushing him, and there's almost no way you could stop it. I mean, it's annoying because the Eagles were 4-12 on third down. 4-12. And I mean, I don't have the fucking box score right here, but I'm assuming 2 or 3 of those were on tush pushes that they got. So this Eagles team really does get a complete advantage with this tush push because whenever it's 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, they're going to get it on 2 attempts. If they don't get on the first, they're getting on the second. And yeah, it's going to make this Eagles team tough because you have that. You have Saquon. You have this defense that we all know is starting to show up. So the Eagles are going to be tough, but I won't like it. I fucking can't stand this team. And Philadelphia is a city full of scumbags and will always continue to be.
I get what you're saying with the tush push thing.
It's
it is
horseshit.
kind of unfortunate. No,
It's
I mean,
horseshit.
like you saw it. They had the false start on it, but they're in that scrum formation that the ref can't even see it. They get it. They get a false start, fumble the snap, pick it up, and still get the touchdown. Like, it's really unstoppable. I mean, if you don't have like Aaron Donald or Chris Jones or just like a premier DT and someone to back him up, there's no way you could stop it. And then you add Saquon to that, they could run those little end arounds, even though they haven't worked yet. It's tough, man. If the season were to end today, who do you got for MVP, Saquon or Josh?
It's got to be Josh. I mean,
Okay,
I get it.
agree.
I get
I don't
it with
like the Saquon narrative. I really don't like it.
because we all know that the O-line is a major factor in why
Exactly.
Saquon's
Thank you.
performing so good. Josh Allen, I'm not going to say he's doing it on his own, but he's 95% of the reason. I mean, the Bills' O-line is solid. James Cook, Khalil Shakir, Dawson Knox, come on. That's Josh Allen. That's the MVP for me. I mean, if you're a 49er fan, if you're from the Bay Area and you thought Saquon before Sunday, you have a different opinion now because he showed everybody on Sunday Night Football that I think he's the best player in the league this year.
Oh, you mean Josh, right?
That's what I said, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree. I don't like everyone's trying to make like on ESPN, Fox, like everyone wants to go with the sexy pick. You don't want to say Josh. Fuck up. Seriously, shut the fuck up. It's Josh.
I
man.
agree.
He's dominating the league. He's doing it all on his own. He really doesn't have another all-pro on that offense, maybe on the offensive line, but he has no help. Or I meant a Pro Bowler. Doesn't even have like a Pro Bowler on that offense. So you got to give him his flowers. All respect to Saquon, Offensive Player of the Year, whatever you want to call it. You ain't the MVP, brother.
All bullshit aside, the Eagles are humming. They're really keeping up with the Lions in the NFC, so we'll see how that plays out. There's definitely a couple big games coming down the road for both teams. So that's it, Sager. That's it for... Are we going to change the name fastest 5 minutes? Are we set on this, or do we need to figure out a name?
We could drop some comments. I mean, I don't think the names would
Drop in the comments. Also, I forgot this on the Niner video. I was just so depressed. I couldn't even think about it. Guys, please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
If you guys like what we're putting out, like and subscribe so we can maybe, like I said, get some dollars out of this. I mean, I don't want to do this take shit for free. I will, but if I had the choice to get money from it, I'd want to get money from it. So please, like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, do all that shit. Sage, anything else before we hop off here?
That's it, man. Good week outside of the Niners. We'll get back, hopefully break down the game coming up. Even though I don't want to, I'll do it, just for the audience, for the viewers. Like and subscribe. Share this with a friend. Repost, follow us on our socials. You can see down below. Chase, tell them when we'll talk to him.
So, guys, I think we're going to talk to you on, if you're listening on the podcast, we're probably going to come out with something on Wednesday. Who knows, Sage? If you're on YouTube, we may put out little clips here and there. I know the Warriors are taking on the Nuggets, so who knows? If the Warriors look good, Steph Curry puts up 50 points, we may do a little video there. But if not, expect to see some stuff coming in on Wednesday or Thursday morning early. So that's when you're going to see us. We'll do a little bit of a Bears-Niners preview. And as always, we're going to dive into the best bets. I went 2-2 this week. Sager, what'd you go?
I went 3-1. Mr. Consistency over
Wow,
here.
so we're tied again. I mean,
Tied again,
but iron sharpens iron. We're both doing good. We're both getting winners throughout the year, so that's a good thing. Pay attention to us, man. Put the bets down. You'll make money.
coming up.
That's all we could do for you. That's all we could do for you here, Sage. We can't make your life better, but we could give you some more money to help out with it.
Oh, I agree. And that's all we got to do. You know, when your team's not, that's the beauty about the NFL, man. You're going to watch, if you're a real football guy, you're going to watch every game. You're going to study the league. Come these like later weeks, November, December, you understand league. You're going to make some money out of it, whether your team's good, whether your team's bad. So that's the fun of it. So we're just helping all you Niners fans out there. Chase, what do you like to say? Hold on to the cape.
Hold on to the cape. Don't let go.
Let's make you some money.
Let's make you some money. That's going to be it for the show today, guys. We'll talk to you guys later.